Hey team, welcome to the Builders Ladder podcast that the top residential building company owners and general contractors listen to get their business ahead and buy back their time while earning more money. Here's what's in store today. As you get older, you start to think, well, do I want to be working this hard? Do I want to be driving this hard? How can I build something that doesn't require my every drop of blood, sweat of tears, etc., etc.? The Builder's Ladder is brought to you by The Professional Builder. Get proven systems and expert coaching to reclaim your time, make more profit, and build a systemized, profitable company that buys back your freedom.
Mr. Marti Amos, what is up, brother? How you doing?
Doing very well. Just enjoying the change into spring here in Auckland. Days getting a bit longer, weather's getting warmer, and getting outside, getting some exercise. How about you? Singapore F1.
Yes, we had Formula One in town. It was very good. An exercise in just a masterclass in marketing. Like everybody there is paying a fortune, and they've all come from Drive to Survive. Like video testimonials and stories that sell. Wow, what a thing. So we had a walkabout ticket on qualifying, and a walkabout ticket was $300 a head, and everybody's walking around with the merch and like a cap. I think I sent you a photo. A hat. Yes. Is like $90 minimum. And if you want a bucket hat, it's like $130. T-shirts are another stratosphere entirely. So, wow, what the power of marketing was my main takeaway from being at the F1.
And you can't go to an event, car racing, concert, MotoGP without buying merch, right?
Yeah, I'm a sucker. I'm a real consumer. I'm a sucker for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But other than that, great weekend, barbecue, and can't complain. And really looking forward to what we got coming up. Like we're having our whole management team come together at the beginning of next month, doing some leadership training, doing what we get our members to do, which is the preloaded year, making sure that 2025 is going to be their best year yet. So booking out their holidays, their key milestones, their departmental milestones, reverse engineering that back. Who do we need on the team? What metrics are going to be the most important metrics for us all. I can't wait. Here comes quarter four. Like, let's get after it.
Exactly. And I think looking at each team member's career progression, what are their personal goals? What do they need to do within the business to hit the metrics to achieve their personal goals? And then how can we, as the owners, create a big enough vision and a big enough opportunity for them to achieve all their goals within our sphere of influence in the world?
Yeah, true that. People don't leave jobs; they leave leaders and opportunities. So
exactly,
and ceilings is what keeps them stuck. It's kind of good segue into today's topic. If you're over 50, what options have you got in your business? So, as our resident 50-year-old, plus, minus, give or take, margin of error. Tell us more. What have we got to unpack today? What's the bullet points or the cliff notes that we're going to get through?
Yes, I think as you get older, you start to think, well, do I want to be working this hard? Do I want to be driving this hard? What is the longevity of my business? How can I build something that doesn't require my, every sweat of blood, every drop of blood, sweat of tears, etc., etc. And how can I build a business that goes further by building a team? And then do I want to ultimately set it up for sale and get a big payday, hopefully? Do I want to install a general manager? Do I want to and work 3 or 4 days a week? Do I want to structure a buy-in and have a partner who's my ride or die? I think that's terminology for chicks though, right? But my ride or die in business. Or some other option, like, is it just going to atrophy and die? Am I still going to be stuck on the tools? Am I going to be doing the pricing? Am I going to be doing shit that, how do you structure something that works for you, your outcome, your goals that you want to achieve? And I think getting clear on that first, personally, can then help design the business model and structure to fit that.
Exactly. Because like for many of our guys, they come to us at an event usually. Like very few of our members come to us because they want to hang out and talk with Owen or Marti. Like I'd love to believe that to be true. And the case,
fun as that would be,
it's not the case. They come because either they've just had a little one, they've just had a cock up on site and an expensive mistake, or they've reached a point of their career that you've just described and explained, and they've gone, I need to get off the tools, or I need to start thinking about my retirement. They've had an event, they've had something that's happened. And that's kind of what we're unpacking here. It's like, do you want to get off the tools? Do you want to build, like, you can build a business that you can sell, but in doing so, you're actually building a very sustainable and resilient company at the same time. So it's kind of like you can have your cake and eat it too. You can work towards a sale, but in doing so, you might work yourself back into a business that you love and you don't want to sell.
Exactly. It gives you the option. Like if you want to own 100% of your business, netting 500K 4 days a week, fantastic. Then build your business to do that. And there's a number of different options that you can do to achieve that. Or you could sell your business from 2 to 5 years from now, start going and doing scaffolding, spec builds, joinery business, commercial, whatever you want to do. Or you can set it up to achieve all those things by structuring a buy-in and getting one of your key team members to buy in, or an outside investor to buy in and give you the extra capital to fund and hire those people who are going to work like owners with the founder's mentality, which is a great book, by the way, The Founder's Mentality.
So this has happened a bunch with our members. We've got examples of, we've worked with members who have bought the business outright, and like, I bought this business. It's kind of a great deal because there are no systems. Can you help me put systems in place? We've worked with people that have sold portions of their business to partners outside of their tight sphere, and they've come in to run a section of the company that they have not enjoyed doing, pricing or selling or, business operations. And then we've also worked with members that have had buy-ins from key team members, and they've elevated up to then they've been a great project manager, and now they're, doing that as an owner sort of thing. So have you seen other examples of people getting into this? Like
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a lot of friends in private equity that structure these sort of deals all day, every day, where they'll go and buy a company outright or buy anywhere from 25, 33 to a majority shareholding in a company. And then they have what's called a 100-day playbook. So what are the 100 things that you would do to fix that business? You need to know that, go in with a plan of how you're going to realize that value, whether it's selling off assets, cutting costs, centralizing operations, and then what are you going to do to grow it and improve profits, margins, and one of the big levers is pricing, which obviously is a key component that we teach all our members to price to a target margin, control the work in progress.
Yeah.
So, and within our sphere of building company owners and the 3,000 people that we've worked with over the last 20 years, if we look at, I guess we'll go through the key things in logical order. So how do you set it up for a sale?
Yeah.
And so if you're going to set it up for a sale, these are all the things that you should take into consideration. So we have a training on this that we've done with an accounting firm, and we've also done it with lawyers, and we've got everything on how to actually set your business up for sale and how to maximize the value. So by reverse engineering what you want, you can work out what are the steps that you need to put in place in order to maximize that value. So a business value is valued on, if we go with the simpletons or most commonly used formula, is stock at cost, assets at book value, and then goodwill.
Yeah.
And all goodwill is typically the difference between the net tangible asset of the business and the asking price. So if you had stock of 100K, assets of 100K, and you asked $1 million for the business, then the goodwill is the bit in the middle, that 800 grand. So the goodwill is 800K. And goodwill is typically a multiple anywhere between 1 to 4 for a small business of the net profit. So if this business made $200,000 and goodwill was set at 800K, that would have a price earnings multiple or a goodwill or a PE ratio of 4. And so the higher that multiple, the better when you come to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's how do we make that multiple higher? And most building company owners, most building companies, because they lack systems, don't have good structure, don't have sales and marketing systems so that anyone could come in. That multiple is how strong is the correlation that if Joe Bloggs bought your business, he could get the same result over the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So the higher the multiple, the more predictable the business, the better the systems, the longer it's been in business, that you've been in business, if the existing management team and staff are staying on, all those things contribute to a stronger multiple and a much higher sale price.
100%. So basically what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong here, if I'm Bob the Builder and I'm swinging a hammer, going from job to job, and all the systems are in my brain, and if I were to be hit by the proverbial bus, go on holiday, or decide to pack it all in, this business ceases to exist at the end of the next job, right?
Yes.
My multiple is not even one, right? Like, because there is no business.
Because someone else could go out and start that exact. Why would someone pay for that when they could go and start that tomorrow with next to no capital setup?
Exactly. If I have predictable flow of leads because my marketing doesn't even rely on the owner, myself, but from my 24/7, 365 salesperson, my website that generates leads from an investment of Google AdWords, an investment into Meta ads, partnerships in the industry, a referral process with past clients and my team. So I generate leads. I have a pricing method that gets them to a minimum margin based on my overheads and everything that I know. And maybe that pricing isn't reliant on the owner either, but maybe an outsourced estimator, an estimating software, or an in-house team member. Then my management team, so I'm talking project management, general management, and accounting and finance and everything, is well documented and well laid out so they can deliver projects at timeline, budget, and quality standard. And then ideally, those key team members are tied in. So if they were to leave, they would maybe be leaving something. So what we would often do is we might give a project manager a bonus incentive, but we would pay half of it out upon completion of job and half of it out 12 months later, for argument's sake. So if I were to leave with that project manager, I'd be leaving half of my bonus on the table and walking away. So that tie-in would increase the continuity of the business because your key leaders probably aren't going to leave on a whim.
Very, very common in the corporate world. Like a lot of my mates are CEOs, and when I was marketing director of Honda and running Pirelli, we would have a 1-year incentive, and then we would also have 3-year incentive, typically around making the key number in your business, which might be your net profit or your EBIT. And so those golden handcuffs, could be anywhere from 100 to $1 million. I've got some mates that they're sitting on sort of 400 to 700K. Mm-hmm. And so if they leave within that time, they don't get that that golden payout.
For sure. So if we have all these things set up and the business is, for want of a better phrase, like relatively automatic, right? Or doesn't require the owner in day-to-day operations, maybe just month-to-month operations, then we're good. Like what kind of multiple
100%.
The business?
So franchises head towards this end of the spectrum, and a franchise typically might have a multiple between 4 to 7 because it's typically predictable, repeatable. Anyone can come in with not as much experience and fundamentally make the business work.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more you can systemize the sales and marketing, the numbers and the pricing of projects, and then the team and the systems and the leadership, the higher the multiple, the more predictable the revenue will be, and the higher chance someone can come in and get the same or a very similar result. So the more value you're creating for the business.
Beautiful.
So if you have none of this in place and things suck and it feels like hard work and you're balancing a lot of opportunities, you're doing the pricing, you're doing the project management, you're wearing all the hats, then you can either think of, man, this business sucks. Or you can just reframe that and go, man, I have a lot of opportunities to massively change the trajectory of my life and my business and build something awesome over the next 18 to 24 months.
Yeah.
Typically, we recommend that long so that you maximize because typically when you go to a bank for borrowing, they want to see 2 years of your financials for serviceability. So if we can show 2 years of improvement, ideally, it's much more stable, and it shows that we've got good systems running every aspect of the business.
Yeah. So we've established that multiple. The next part is what number are we timesing the multiple by? So that comes into which number?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Owen. We should probably put this up on a spreadsheet so everyone can see it, either on the YouTubes or we'll make this business value calculator downloadable for everything. So what we're going to do is the multiple is timesing by the net profit. And so we have a lot of variables in our business that go into influencing how much net profit our business makes. So the best thing we can do is figure out what's the number that I'm happy with if I was to walk away from the business. Is it 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million? And then we can reverse engineer, what do we need to get revenue to? What do we need to get our gross margin to? What do we need to get our fixed cost to? What do we need to get our net profit to help drive that number?
Yeah.
And so the number we've had probably 30 to 40 members sell their business in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. And the multiple that typically gets between Queenstown, Auckland, New Plymouth, Napier, Sydney, Vancouver, Texas, the multiple that we've seen is between 2 to 3.7.
Yeah.
It's a 2 on the low end. And most of these were good sized businesses, typically in the $3 to $10 million range. If you had a business that was sub $3 million and the less amount of time it's going, and then the multiple's probably going to be lower because there's more variability and less predictability in being able to achieve that number.
Yeah. So we're timesing the net profit by the multiple to establish our company asset value, essentially.
Exactly. So we recommend 18 to 24 months to get all these systems processes in place. And it gives you the time to implement the systems, install the team to run them, and make sure that you're hitting these numbers to get this multiple to end up with your ideal payout.
Yeah.
So let's say your business currently, as it stands, or this business was netting $100,000 profit, and you paid yourself a salary of $100K, and you had other costs, fixed costs to run the business, so a bit of marketing, you had a part-time office manager, and you paid your insurance, your tax, your ACCs, etc. That totals 300,000. 100,000 for your profit, and your fixed costs 200 to 300K. Let's say your gross margin was 15%. That means that we need to do $2 million in revenue to get our 300K. And we need to do, if we have an average dollar sale of 500K, so some projects might be small reno, we might do some bigger projects like a 750, 800K new build. That means on average we have to do 4 of those 500K jobs to reach our 2 million. If we have gross margins 15%, means we have 300K. 300K, we pay 200 towards our fixed costs, and 100 grand is what's left over for us as the owner. That 100K is going to have a smaller multiple if we don't have systems, processes, marketing, sales, pricing written down, systemized, and then mapped out, ideally in a Loom video with SOPs, standard operating procedures, for like you're buying a McDonald's. You buy the prototype, the franchise, systems, the SOPs, and you inherit the team that comes along with it, and you decide whether you're going to keep them or not. If we had a multiple of 1.5, and we'll set stock at cost, because stock at cost at 0, because typically most building companies don't have a lot of stock. Assets will be at book value. So if you had a laptop that you bought 2 years ago for $2,000, it might now be worth a quarter of that. So it might be worth $500, right? And you'll keep an asset register on your balance sheet, you'll be able to see exactly the value of your ute, your website, your laptops, etc., etc. But we'll set those at 0 for now because every company is going to be different. So 1.5 times by your 100K net profit means that your business, for how long you've been working, is worth $150,000. And at that stage, you may be thinking, oh shit, I'm 53. I've been working in this business for 20 years. And this is all that I have to show if I was to go and sell this business. And that is a massively powerful place to be in, because all progress starts with looking in the mirror, speaking the truth to yourself and going, there has to be a better way. I deserve better. I'm going to do whatever it takes to figure out how to change my situation and provide a nest egg for my family, an ongoing legacy for my team, the community, and make sure that I'm comfortable for my retirement or the next phase, or I'm going to install a general manager so that I can go out and do these house and land packages. So that's the first step, getting true, accurate feedback on your numbers. Where are you at? What is your business valued at? And this is why we've made the business value calculator available to you. So you can put your numbers in here and you can see exactly at the moment what your business is worth. And that the multiple typically is going to be somewhere between 1 to 2 for a business that's not as well systemized, been around for under 5 years, sub $3 million, owner's not going to stay on, etc.
Yeah.
Where multiple goes up is if we've had continued earnings growth, continued improvement in margin, well systemized marketing, a mapped out sales process that converts consistently. The pricing all mapped out, and ideally you're using pricing software. Then project management is all dialed in. Everything is mapped out in an A to Z of operations. Every team member has a scorecard, and we track our work in progress, and we have a well systemized business that runs like a machine. That's what we're building, a machine.
100%. And what we're looking for here is maximizing that multiple or maximizing that net profit, right? So you could have a huge net profit, but if it's all reliant on yourself, then that multiple is going to be pretty damn low, right? We want to balance both. So you might, to the whole point that Marti's talking about of making sure that this is repeatable over a couple of years, we normally take the net profit that we multiply against the multiple from an average over the last 2 or 3 years. So what you'll want to do is, if you're thinking about selling or even structuring a buy-in over the next couple of years, you want to start looking at this today, because you want to make sure that your trailing 3 years of net profit is as stand out as possible, so that you're multiplying a decent number by your multiple, not I sucked, and then all of a sudden it's good, or I sucked, it was great, and I sucked again, because we're going to take an average of the last 3 years sort of thing. So we want to make sure that it's relatively repeatable and relatively systemized, so that we're multiplying two numbers that are actually good together. Anything times by 0 is 0, remember?
Exactly. So this situation, we've got one of our members who's in Melbourne, Peter. He has structured a buy-in with his son, and that forces you to formalize the value of the company, formalize each person's role, put a shareholder agreement together, and then formalize the structure of what are we each going to do? What are our scorecards? Where are we taking the business? It forces you to get serious about value creation.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you actually building? What do you want to do? What do you not want to do?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a critical step. Another one of our members in New Plymouth structured buy-in with his contract administrator, and she's bought 50% of the business. Mm-hmm. Another one of our members sold his company for $3 million in Queenstown. And so what he did was set the business up, knew that he wanted to sell it. We put a plan together with him over 18 months to help strip out all his personal costs. So it sold for a multiple of 3. So if you had, let's say you had $35,000 going through the business that were like some personal flights, some lunches out, dinners out, you bought a TV, et cetera, et cetera.
Typically called discretionary earnings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
if you strip those out, then we now got a multiple of 3. Every one of those dollars is worth $3 upon sale. So the increased asset value means we've got an extra 100K out of the value of the business when it comes time to sell. Yeah. So we want to do that over, a period of at least 12 months, 12 to 18 months.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we're now identifying all the opportunity areas, if we were to take this example and we're going to turn it into a better business over here, as you can see, there are a couple of key changes. For starters, the gross profit has grown massively, and that's now divided down 50-50 into 500 grand to run the business and 500 grand in net profit. Now, that $500,000 to run the company might have gone into an estimating service, whether it would be software, people, or better process, or an agency. It might have gone into a contract administrator. It might have gone to a project manager. It would have gone into people and process that allows us to build resilience in the company and to achieve this big, juicy number, 20% margin, up from 15.
And coaching to get the fast tracks, the plug and play, the accountability to make sure everyone in the team's on board, they're performing how they should be. You've got your accountability on your numbers every month, and you're actually on track to hit your target. Just like having a personal trainer at the gym. You can try and do all this and figure it all out on your own, or you can do it with a personal trainer who's going to help you stay accountable, ensure you do the right KPIs, the right actions, key performance actions, to hit your KPIs every month, which are going to create that asset value, that nest egg that you're looking to build.
Exactly. Then we've grown the company as well, because a larger pipeline is like the law of large numbers, right? Like a bigger piece of pie goes a lot further than a small pie. So we've grown the business from 2 to 5 mil. And while project size has stayed the same, we're doing more projects now. With all of this infrastructure in place and this more resilience and sustainability of the company by removing the owner from elements and by investing into the business, we've actually grown the asset value from a 1.5 to a 3. So now what we're doing is we're multiplying this number here, $500,000, by 3, which we are establishing based on a now 20% margin, a larger company, better investment into people, process, and coaching and other things that build resilience and sustainability into the company. And 3 times 500 gives us now an asset value of 1.5. So we've 10x the value of the business in a couple of years.
Yep, a huge return, and it's going to be less stressful to run, better systemized, higher performing, consistent, and with team members that help take some of the weight and workload off your shoulders. And we've gone through this process. So not only have we helped a lot of our members execute this, but we've gone through this ourselves. So we've worked together for 9 years, and I'm getting older and more energized and enthused, and I want a running mate with me, a brothers in arms who wants to take on the world, do big things, help as many people as possible. And the process we went through was to get clear, are our visions aligned? Do we think we could work together? And then work through, what does success look like? Where could this fail? What will my role be? What will your role be? What are your concerns? What are my concerns? And just get really clear on our vision and how we can help each other achieve that, and are we aligned?
Exactly, 100%. And if nothing else, it's an excellent exercise that everybody should go through, because to your point earlier, like it helps to focus down on metrics that matter. You're going to get to the end of your career and you've built a sandcastle, or you're going to get to the end of your career and you've built like an asset for your family that you're able to use as a nest egg, because you take a lot of risk and liability as a business owner, particularly in construction. So we need to make sure that what we're building actually has some value that's not just reliant on you. So this example is a simple and basic one, and it's a workshop or exercise that you should do if you're following along at home, of working out what's your number, what would you be comfortable selling a portion of your business or all of your business for, and then who would that go to? Because the next part comes into the law of price and terms. We've established a price, but now we would establish some terms. So, for example, if we're selling to somebody that's in our team, project manager, carpenter, contracts administrator, and our company is valued at 1.5 or 3 or 5 or 2 or whatever, it's potentially unlikely that the office manager can afford to buy 50%, 30%, 25%, 5% of the company. So at that point, we might have to negotiate on terms. We wouldn't want to negotiate on price per se, but we can negotiate on terms. And that's where we could do things like seller financing. So this is where maybe 50% of the price is paid up front, and the other 50% is paid over a period of time, potentially through that person's profits that they would then be able to draw or take as a business owner, and then at a seller financing interest rate. So that could be anywhere from market rate of 8.5% to 15.5%, depending on type of deal done.
Which is exactly the structure of our deal. And so Owens bought 25%, paid 50% up front, 50% was vendor financed, and that went at the market rate, I think, of 8.5% on top of that. And then paid the profits out of his amount. And so for me, it's been incredible. Our business has grown exponentially over the last 12 months. We've gone from a team of 21 to now a team of 47. And we have to level up and create a much bigger vision, better business for everyone. And also it gives opportunity for our team members and everyone to play a bigger game. It allows me to take some chips off the table. And it also allows Owen to now, we put a performance clause in there that if we hit our targets, he would have the opportunity to buy a further 8% at the original buy-in rate. And we've surpassed those targets. So it's a great way to build a business, reward your team members, create some financial security for both of you, and really 10x the enthusiasm of everyone in the business. Well, yeah, I can't.
Yeah. 100%. And align everybody. Like the benefit of having, our partnership almost formed by default, having working together for so long in a way, and that was allowed us to know and align our visions really well. Somebody that was going to be selling to an outside investor would need to make sure that they pressure tested, interviewed, and really knew what they were going to get into, because they wouldn't know the person potentially as well as we knew each other getting into this deal.
So we have that in our members training on this. So just to come back full circle, I think the key is to look at what are you actually building? How do you build an asset that gives you choice and options? How do you build an asset that A, you could sell it and maximize the price in 18 to 24 months? B, you could install a general manager and it's well systemized. C, you could structure a buy-in. Or D, which we haven't talked about today, which is plan B, where essentially, and quite a few of our members have done this, essentially you talk with your foreman, project manager, and you say, hey, I'd love to have you come on board. We can take this to the moon. You help take your bit and you agree, hey, over the next 18 months, I'm going to teach you everything to be able to run your own company. And so what do you need to learn? Well, you need to learn how to read plans. You need to learn how to price projects. You need to learn how to have meetings with the client, how to capture variations, etc. And we get a big list and we map those out by quarter, and we actually have the foreman tick these off as we go through it. So it's like education without testing is just entertainment. So he needs to be able to do each of these on his own. We give him the guardrails. So let's say the company goes from 3 million in revenue to 7 million. We agree, okay, cool. We're now going to license that IP to him, and we're going to go and start another building company, 50-50 or whatever ratio you want. We license the building company for $1 from parent company to the new one, and we start this new company, whether it be doing custom architectural homes or in a different part of the city or somewhere else altogether, in the ownership, the joint ownership together. This way, you as the owner, you get to test drive what it's like to both be working as partners together. You get to massively improve the systemization and the value of the existing parent company. And then you get to share in the next, you've created a prototype, like a franchise prototype that you could roll out across 20, 30, 50, 100 locations.
Exactly. Yeah. There are many options. And to your point, step one starts with getting clear on what you want. Okay. Do you want to retain ownership? Do you want to just exit out of elements of the company? You might not want to exit out of the entire company, but you might want to get out of client work, estimating and pricing, project management of humans and cash flow. Who knows, right? So get clear on what you want. Do you want to scale this to the moon? Do you want to build a $15 million company to maximize sale value? Do you want to retain a small company, but have key people come in? Like, there's no right and wrong answer. There is only your answer. And it starts with you getting clear on your BMD, your business maturity date. Step two is then get a plan in place to achieve that business maturity date in ideally as fast as possible, because we want to be able to stack the results for a minimum of 2 to 3 years so that you can then maximize the sale value. So get help, get a plan, and get going with some accountability. And then step three is to identify your partner, vet your partner, get a really clear list of who does what, job descriptions, get a great shareholders agreement in place, value it fairly, agree on price and terms, and then get after it. It could be potentially as simple as that. We do have a full training, a very comprehensive one, plus the spreadsheet that we walked you through. So if you want to get your hands on the cliff notes and the summary of the training, if you want to go through the spreadsheet yourself, then all you need to do is either visit the membership website, go and find plan B or structuring a buy-in there, or alternatively, drop down below plan B and structuring a buy-in to the comments and into the chat, and we will hook it up with all the resources and tools. Anything final before we wrap this up, Marty?
Yeah, enter your age in there. It's a great motivator as well.
There you go.
There's nothing like that, like how long do I have? How long can I keep doing it like this? How do I get a new, fresh infusion of enthusiasm, motivation, not only for myself, but throughout the business, and take all that weight of the whole company off my shoulders and have a running mate that's going to help, take this business to the next level. So that's what I would see. Think of the options. There's many people that would love to have the opportunity that you're sitting in a vehicle that just with the right systems, the right processes, and the right energy could really transform the business and transform your life.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the best option for ambitious employees to take the next step rather than risk it themselves, is to basically, get involved in a vehicle that they already understand and they already know to build wealth for themselves. Like, I can't wait. And I'm stoked by it. And I think that it's the best, most logical option for everybody, because not everybody should go from 0 to 1. Some people should go from 1 to 100.
100%. I couldn't agree more. So download the notes, access the Builders Calculator, see how much your business is worth. If that number's not as big as you think or as big as you were hoping for, reframe that. Fantastic. I have all these opportunities to really change this over the next 18 to 24 months and build a great nest egg, great options, and great opportunities going forward.
Epic. Let's go. Thank you, brother. I'll see you next time.
See you guys. Bye. Want to go more in depth on today's topic and buy back more time whilst earning more money? Get a free business health audit and plenty of free resources over on our website, theprofessionalbuilder.com.